Joy. Let's grab a quick word. Lucas Ellingham for the Loughborough team. Lucas, Loughborough's not a bad start today, but hopefully should be a better one in this one. Have you been to GY-G before?
Yeah, I've been plenty of times in the British Champs. I went there 2017, 2018. Last year I was at UKC 2022.
So you've done a fair few laps around here. Good race?
Yeah, done quite a bit. Yeah.
Looking forward to racing one of these around here. It's probably the first time you've driven one of these at GY-G, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Haven't had a go around here in one of these before. It should be all right.
Starting what, P15?
P16 starting.
P16, and what do you reckon you can do from here? Have you had a look and see who's on circuit with you?
Win.
Win from P16. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Sam.
Welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready for the third race of the day. Reeve, do you want to have a go through the grid?
Go on then. We have De Montfort on pole there. We have Birmingham A rounding out the front row. Oxford A in P3. Oxford Brooks D in P4. Edinburgh A on row 3. Exeter A joining them there as well. Moving on to row 4. Euclan B, Liverpool A. Row 5, Trent B and Oxford Brooks C. Row 6 is York A and Swansea A. Moving on then to row 7. It's Oxford Brooks E and Sheffield A. Row 8 P15, Loughborough C and Reading A in P16. Row 9, Cardiff B and Warwick A. And then at the back end of the field we have Liverpool B, row 10 and UCLA. The row 11, Manchester B, Manchester A. So in all Manchester row 11. Then row 12 is Derby A and Surrey A. So then we have row 13 is Birmingham B and Bristol A. Row 14, Oxford Brooks B and Coventry A. Row 15 is Coventry D and Oxford Brooks A. And then we have Leicester A on row 16 with Loughborough B. Row 17, Southampton B and Lancaster A. And then rounding out the field is Nottingham Trent A and Bath A in P35 and P36. So, race 2, certainly interesting. We'll be hoping for much the same here in race 3. As someone already having a little bit of an off on the practice laps. That's what the practice laps are here for. Get some temp in the car and get them ready for 25 minutes of racing. As we have what should be one of the last few, we're going to call it warm weather races, I think, in comparison to what we're due later on. The forecast, if you haven't checked already, not looking particularly pleasant here at GY-G. It wouldn't be a trip to Wales if there wasn't some rain on the way.
So this will be the first race of the day where we see our championship leaders in action. What do you think they'll be focusing on in this one for Exeter A?
Oh dear,
that's selling them off.
They'll be focusing on not doing that, I think, will be the aim of the game. Although they're in a fairly good position, they'll probably just be trying to bring the car home, keep the nose clean without too many issues, as we have some struggles actually to get the car going. This is a disaster, not the way you want to start the race, of course.
Lucas Ellingham is human. I've never seen Lucas do that before. Very, very good driver around Wilton Mill, of course, in his first year of the BUKC. Yeah, that's not the start that you would have wanted. He's not going to be able to get the car to its temperature now.
No, I think, well, we were talking about in race 1 and race 2, the difference between the dry line and the rest of the circuit. I think it's still catching some drivers out. I think the slightly weird, kind of, not humid, but very moist conditions we've got out there, and it's still cold. I think it's catching a few drivers out. The track is just not in green condition, shall we say.
Yeah, and especially today, because there's so much moisture in the grass. It's one of those. We've had another one off at the top of Spoon Curve.
Oh, that looked like it hurt.
A little bit further ahead than where it is.
Oh dear, someone's joining him.
The grass. That's a classic. Thank you, number 50. Right on cue. I know this is a bit ironic saying this today because it's so cold. The grass, relative to the track, is like ice. When you get on it, you just do not stop. The brakes have no effect. Mere amounts of friction and maybe a little bit of digging in of the side pods is what actually slows you down there. You will go so far off circuit if you get into those grassy sections here today. It really is a very different circuit to what we had at PFI and Buckmore Park. You didn't have these great swathes of greenery around the circuit. you want to keep well away from them today because they will bite.
Yeah, especially when you add in, by the looks of things, we've got some new front tyres, so the back ends are going to be a little bit slippy. You've got crests over the hills here at GYG. It's just a recipe for disaster on some corners, so drivers are going to have to be careful of that. We're going to keep seeing that throughout the day, of course, especially if we're going to have some sleet and snow later on. It could be quite interesting here indeed, so stay tuned.
Indeed. We're going to go and have at least one more formation lap here. Thanks to the team in race control, we have now got our ineligibles list, so regular viewers will know that these are the teams that I don't like today.
Yes, we can catch you out
Cause me grief. Oxford Brooks D and E, ineligible all day.
Right, okay.
So they don't exist. I will no longer acknowledge them because they haven't got point-scoring drivers in their carts today, but just to be aware of that one. That will mean that there's been a bit of a shake-up, I think, for the race 2 results in terms of who gets 60 points, 59, 58, etc., etc. But we'll try and keep on top of that across the course of the rest of the morning. This I feel, this particular race, this is really where it gets going now, because after this one, all of our key runners, our Manchesters, our Readings, our Exeters, have all had at least one go so far this morning once we've got race 3 underway.
Yes, I think today's racing is going to be a tale of it's going to be almost like having 2 separate days of racing. I think it's going to be, as we head later on, also with the different weather, as we know a little bit more about what's going on in the championship. The driver's going to be heading into those races with a very different attitude indeed, as we get ready to make way in just a moment's time.
Off we go then, 25 minutes here at GYG. Good start for Cardiff B on the inside. There's not a lot of grip there. Lucas Ellingham running wide. So yeah, once again, that Loughborough cart not having a lot of grip, having had dramas before lap number 1, but well-controlled start by Cardiff B on home soil here in Wales. Couple of carts running out wide. Are they all going to get through? No, yellow flag is out. Somebody has been a victim of the run. In fact, several carts have been victims. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carts off. That's going to be a false start, Reeve.
Yes, and I think that is a very good call indeed there. The track is looking awfully slippy out there. I'm not sure if in this small break, have we had like...
Maybe a little bit. I popped out of the comms box very, very briefly. Didn't feel any rain. It still felt very cold. But yeah, it might just be at the top end of the circuit. There are a couple of spots of rain. Or the alternative, someone has been off lower down the hill and they've dragged some moisture onto the circuit, perhaps.
Very possible indeed, and that is why, of course, the best course of action is the false start. We need to neutralise this race and try and get away safely once again.
So this will reduce time on the race once the clock is reset.
Unfortunately for Cardiff B, they've got all that work to do once again.
Yeah, and they dealt with that really nicely. I mean, it's difficult being on the inside because you're off the racing line. You are going to understeer as you come back onto it. They dealt with that really well. They didn't let P2 get round the outside and get that run on the normal racing line and that slingshot effect almost. It's one of those rare circuits actually where starting in P2 is a good spot. I can think of other circuits. Ella Park springs to mind. We've been with 100 sprints where you almost don't want to be P2 because the style of the run to turn 1 means that P3 is going to be on the inside of you and force you out wide. It's quite a short run here to turn 1 at GYG, so P2 can hold it around the outside, and then when you put in a bit of weather like this today, starting on that pole side off the racing line can be very, very tricky. Let's see if Cardiff B can do it again. Joe Holmes in the pace carts today, pulls off into the pit lane. Race time, I think, has been reduced by maybe 5 minutes, but we'll be ready to go once again for the second attempt of race number 3. Yes, it is a 20-minute race. Cardiff B, and this time Bathby have got a much better run round the outside in P2 and slot in at the front of the field as they head up towards Spoon Curve for the first time. This is where it all went wrong a few moments ago, and there's a couple of drivers running out wide again. The 32 is one of them. That is Nottingham Trent B running wide. I think Exeter B were potentially already involved as the number 14, but only 2 carts off. That is not enough carts to be off to trigger a second false start, so this start is good.
Yeah, we've seen the top 5 already having some great pace there. Who is that heading off? That is number 42 car.
Brighton A.
Yeah, very handily turning around for us just at the right moment as they tumble down the order. It's certainly not looking too grippy out there, but that hasn't affected the front runners too much. Bath B getting a great start. Cardiff B, meanwhile, embroiled in a bit of a battle with Sheffield A now. He might be setting his sights on the defence instead. A bit of a kick of oversteer on the exit of the final corner. And who is that heading round? That is
Coventry A.
Yeah, number 24 there. He is off at turn 1. I think offline this circuit is basically sheet ice at this point for some reason. As we have at Spoon, there someone else is off. There was contact actually, and yeah, that sent one of the drivers off. That is an ABC for Birmingham A as a result there.
Yeah, that'll be +6 positions to Birmingham A, but meanwhile at the front, Bath B running very nicely at the moment.
He'll be wishing he has some form of team radio, because what he needs is the team to say, it's good news, sunshine. Everyone else has gone flying off. All you need to do is bring the car home safely, because it's certainly looking that way at the moment. If the rest of his competitors are too busy having some issues out on track, shall we say. As there's contact once again between the number, what car is that? I couldn't quite make it out, unfortunately, as we start on the lap. It was the number 19 car there getting stuck in a bit of battling. Manchester A having a good lap there all the way up into 5th. Oxford A trying their best to keep on Bath B as we start another lap.
Yeah, some really big hitters in this race as well. You see Kieran Harrison in the lead suit there, who took a great win last time out at PFI. Last time we had a sprint round. Sam Sanders in there as well for the University of East Anglia. They have an ineligible driver in their next race, so this is it for the UEA team.
And there is, I believe, that is the overtake from Oxford A, has been able to get past Bath B. So a good start for Bath. Unfortunately, they're not able to keep that momentum up at this point in time. Now, obviously, we've only just got our first couple laps of fast running, but the time's not looking anywhere near as healthy as what we saw in race 2. We're in the 53s for the fastest lap at the moment. Let's see how that changes as we start another lap now. It's a 51.6 actually for Manchester A on that previous lap. So the time's getting there. The circuit is coming to the drivers in just a few moments. Warwick B and Bath B now very close indeed. This is exactly what Oxford A wants. They're able to just run away with it really and allow that thing is allowing them to drive away in the lead of the race.
X to watch is going very well. Very, very well for them. Watch out for the number 2. They're already up to 13th place. As off is another driver there at Spoon Curve. You're carrying so much speed up and over that brow. You brake, we're talking a metre, if that, too late, and that is what can happen. You just drift out wide, again get off the racing line. Oh, and Lucas Ellingham facing the wrong way there through Devil's Elbow, so not a good moment for Loughborough B there.
No, that's cost them time, and of course there might be some penalties potentially heading their way if we didn't quite see the full rejoin there, but it didn't look entirely comfortable. Liverpool B having some issues as well. They're down in 17th, only picked up a penalty while they're at it as well. Contact warning, I believe, actually not a penalty. But Manchester A now up into 4th. As we have contact warning for Warwick B as well. They're in P3, so they want to make sure that they're not getting too many offences there.
And it is the main man for X-Ray. Just spotted him there in the bright helmet, Max O'Shaughnessy. He is their guy. If you've not watched BUKC before, he is their guy that is often given the job of the back of the grid starts for X-Ray. They've got to have one of them in the random grid generation. They always put Max in position because he is so good at this, bringing himself through the field quickly and cleanly, not picking up penalties on the way. Having said that, he's just picked up a contact warning. Thank you very much, Max. But this is X-Ray. This is why they're in the lead of the championship by such a margin at this stage of the season. They are already up into the top 10, challenging the UEA A driver down the inside. And Max O'Shaughnessy goes past Sam Sanders there for P9. This is one of those super Max performances once again.
Yeah, great drive from him so far. Manchester A now up in 2P3. I've just watched as a few cars head through turn 1. If they clip the curb on the exit, it's not looking very comfortable out there. It seems to be chucking the cart about. Now, obviously, we've seen on a few laps now, we've seen cars 3, maybe even getting close to 4 wide, heading through turn 1 at some points. Now, if people are riding over the curves, it could get quite messy indeed heading into turn 1. So the driver's going to have to be careful of that. Of course, there are quite a few lumps and bumps here at this circuit.
Ross Steele is the currently fastest driver on circuit. You can just see him there 2 ahead in the Class of Motorsport suit, the red shoulders and the white body, cart number 34. Ross Steele, one of Reading's strongest drivers, and being a Welshman, should know this circuit pretty well, I imagine. Ocean Beach there as well. This properly is a big hitters race.
Yes, this will be a pivotal moment in the day's race. And as we were mentioning before, yeah, the local boys should be having a bit of a home turf advantage almost. That hasn't worked out for Liverpool just yet. Unfortunately, not had a good couple of races. I'm actually going to blame that on the traffic we had coming out of Liverpool. I, of course, headed down with the Liverpool crew, and it took a good 3.5 hours just to get here, so we might as well have headed to Bucknell.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Max O'Shaughnessy now sizing up Kieran Harrison. Maybe they just go for a bit of a steady approach here and not go for the move, try and close in on Rossdale and the Reading A kart ahead.
Speaking of closing in, Manchester...
No, they don't. He goes through. But good battle going on ahead now. It's actually all closing up from third backwards. Oxford A and Manchester A have broken off the front, but you've then got a Bath train as Max O'Shaughnessy looking to the inside of Rossdale here. This is your top two in the championship at the start of the day, the number 34 and the number 2. Down the inside of the 54 goes Oxford Brooks A, so Warwick B losing positions here. Black flag for Birmingham B. 2 examples of advantage by contact. They're going to have to come into the pits for re-education. And it is all kicking off here and through our Exeter. It may be symbolic at this stage, but that could be a key moment once again for Exeter. They have got past their nearest challengers in the championship in this very race. They're into 7th place now.
Yeah, they are picking off, or going to be trying to pick off those cars up in front. Just want to speak of closing up. Manchester A, of course, who weren't on the podium just a few laps ago, now currently in P2 and only 0.2 of a second behind Oxford A, as there is a contact warning for Oxford A, so they're not just 0.2 behind, they are neck and neck pretty much as they go to start another lap in just a few moments' time. But yeah, great pace from that Manchester A car at the moment.
Yeah, this is what we've come to expect from Ocean Beach. He's done this so many times.
And there is the overtake now. Manchester A leading the race. Contact warning for Birmingham A. It is getting very competitive in that mid-pack. The cars at some point trying to go 5 wide as we head down towards turn 3. That, of course, is never going to work. We're going to have to watch it as we head through Spoonall. I think there's a little bit more temperature in the cars now. They're looking a little bit more comfortable out on track. An ABC penalty for Reading A there.
And that is not good news. That is really not good news for Reading A. And we've been talking about these championship permutations. It very much is on Reading A to start winning rounds. That will be a +4 penalty. And so the best that Reading can hope for in this particular race is a score for 5th place. That's if they got all the way to the front. Then they're nowhere near that at the moment, because Ocean Beach is running away with this. Another new fastest lap for Manchester A. And at the moment, it almost feels like Exeter A are playing with the rest of the field. They're almost like teasing them in terms of their performance, frustrating the likes of Reading, the likes of Brooks A. They're not able to get those big scores in and take a big hit on Exeter A because they've just been so consistent so far this season.
No, they're waiting for their moment to pounce in this race, of course. There is Reading very close to them, but then only a few tenths up the road. You've got Birmingham and Leeds, and then before they know it, they could be near the podium scoring positions. Cone penalty there for Swansea A. So I thought I saw for a brief moment a speck of rain on track. I think that was just my eyes deceiving me, though. We are expecting that at some point, as Liverpool B also collecting a cone penalty here. So I think a few drivers running wide, trying to push the cars as hard as possible. As we start on the lap, and Manchester A now 2 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. Oxford A, though, still managing their pace well. They're quite clear of Oxford Brooks A. Yeah, very good running from the front 2. Could we see, as we've seen on 2 occasions now, could we see a battle for the lead heading later on? That is rain on track. Yeah,
I think there is a bit of rain just coming over the hill at the top end of the circuit. That is going to make Spoon Corner so tricky now. We've seen a lot of spins up there already. Back with our battle between Reading and Exeter.
It will. The onus is on the drivers, of course, as well, to manage their pace and make sure they can control the car. These drivers have all gone into this race with their heads set on a dry dry running, and they're used to setting the 51 to 52 second laps, and they're going to be quite quickly caught out if they try to push those laps in these grip conditions.
I say we saw 49s in the previous race. We're dropping now. The pace is dropping. Liverpool B have just got past UEA for 14th place. Samsung is not having a happy time at all out there at the moment. It's also not gone too well for X to B. They're now down into 24th place. That won't be bothering their 18 though. In a strange way, being behind Reading A is one of the safest places to be. They can just kind of follow them round at the moment. And, oh, is that Oxford Brooks A running out wide? Yes, it was. So I think, yeah, you get offline now. You are starting to find the effects of what this fine rain is doing to the circuit. They've also just come across all the back markers now as well. So this is going to make it very, very tricky. Down the inside, Reading A are going to be out wide here. You see Ross Deal slide, and as much talent as Ross Deal has, slick tyres, damp track, you just cannot get the power down. And that is a key moment once again, because through went X to A, through went Brooks A as well. I think also Loughborough A got involved. Brooks A now having a look at X to A. These two drivers, these two teams fought over the BUKC title the last time we came to Wales. That was the finale at Llandau last year. Slippery surface flag out as well for the drivers. So the rain is definitely starting to team down here in Wales.
Yes, one thing the drivers have to watch out for as well, of course, the grip is going to be reduced on the racing line, but if they have to go offline for whatever reason, if they run a little bit wide or there's traffic to negotiate, they are soon going to find themselves probably in the scenery somewhere. It's not going to be pretty, as we have Loughborough A, Loughborough B getting very close together on track there in relatively good stead at the moment. I want to mention Manchester X still setting the mid-51s at this point in the race. Still great pace from that kart, as the contact warnings are absolutely flooding in now, owing to the rain that is flooding in as well.
Yeah, this has been a supreme drive from Ocean Beach. Manchester A leading the race, Oxford A second. Here's a battle now for third place between Kieran Harrison and Max O'Shaughnessy, Exeter and Leeds. But once again, I think the job is done in this particular 25-minute race for Exeter A. They've got themselves through the field. They've got themselves ahead of their chief rivals. They're scoring good points. That's not going to stop Max O'Shaughnessy having a go, though, as they come over the line. The number 30 is there that they need to negotiate their way by. That is a back marker. That is Cardiff B. This has been a very impressive performance once again to start the day for Exeter A. They've sat the first two races out. Down the inside goes O'Shaughnessy and through into third.
Yes, and now he's up into third, obviously only one position down on Oxford A. Oxford A seems to be managing their pace. They seem to be running the car quite conservatively, making sure that they bring it home safely, of course. It's the best course of action in these conditions, but could they find themselves under threat in just a few laps from the number 5 car of Leeds A? They're running in the high 51s. It's quite a pace advantage to Leeds in this race. They could be closing that gap quite considerably as we head into the final stages of this race. So still plenty of battling despite the less than ideal grip conditions out here on track, although Exeter A has been able to get back past Leeds A. What's happened here?
This is up at Spoon Corner again. Drivers are going to need to be careful. There goes the race leader, Ocean Beach. And Bristol A have received a spinning under yellow penalty. We're trying to work out which of those carts, one of them might have been Glan-Y-B, because Glan-Y-B have fallen down through the order. Bit of traffic for third, fourth, fifth place drivers to deal with. Max O'Shaughnessy's looking to the outside. Oh, beautifully done once again. Great positioning from Exeter A's driver. This is a chance now, because at this point of the circuit, Reeve, there's not a lot you can do. Well, I think the back mark has been quite nice to the leaders there. Just pulled over to one side and let Kieran Harrison through. But it's very difficult in these conditions to force a move through that tight, twisty, almost like a ski slalom section of the course.
No, I think they've recognised the difficulties of the twisty and technical part of the circuit, and they're waiting for the likes of the rundown to alternate turn 1 or turn 3 to try and get any overtaking opportunities done. They want to try and get all the major battling out of the way before Spoon, because I think everyone out on track here has learned just how treacherous that corner can be. Someone has stopped on track, I believe.
I think that's a tester, so that's okay. 4.5 minutes to go. 4 seconds is the lead for Ocean Beach and Manchester A. Doing the business at the moment.
Yeah.
Times have dropped, but they've kind of steadied at the moment. They are now in the 52s and 53s. They're not getting noticeably worse at the moment.
No, I think the rain is fairly light at this point in time, but Manchester A, Oxford A controlling this race brilliantly, doing everything they need to do from this position. Liverpool B having a good recovery now into 10th. They seem to have capitalised on the misfortunes of a few other drivers in this race. They're only about 6/10 off the likes of Warwick and Loughborough, that mid-pack, which we might find almost a bit of a concertina effect almost. The mid-pack seems to be kind of breaking away from each other and then forming up once again lap by lap. So we could see some more battling in that mid-pack just yet.
Could indeed. This will reduce the number of laps, of course, with the weather the way it is. There's a contact warning for Reading A. Where are Reading A now? We're in 6th place. They're in and amongst where the traffic is.
Brooks A currently running in P5, looking to catch up to Leeds and Exeter. They're showing good pace so far. Brooks obviously having not the most ideal race so far compared to, I'm sure, how they'd like it to have gone. But they were, of course, battling with Oxford just a few laps ago, but they're looking to get back in to that fight.
Indeed. Just got to keep working together at the moment. Never know what opportunities will be presented in the last lap or two. There's still a little bit of time off that. Joe Holmes just pulling off to one side as the tester, letting those leaders through. Kieran Harrison soaking up this pressure now from Porter there in the Brooks A kart.
Yeah, it's good to see the drivers working together in harmony in these conditions.
Yeah.
It's quite reassuring to see that the drivers are recognising the difficulties that they've got out here on this very technical circuit.
Contact warning for Manchester B, currently down in 28th position down the inside. Oh, good look, good attempt there from Oxford Brooks A. It's a corner and an apex that comes up very, very quick on drivers. I find at that last corner, it almost tempts drivers into a bit of a lunge, but because the apex comes very quick, there's many times where I've seen someone go for it and it's inevitably an instant once you get to the apex. That was well judged by the Brooks A driver to go, no, not going to fight this one. Yep, may lose a bit of time, but I'll work myself back onto the rear bumper of the number 5. Better to do that than lunge down the inside and get a penalty.
Yes, you're through that corner and, to be honest, the penultimate corner as well before you know it, really. It looks quite open on the track diagram, but it is much tighter when you're actually in the kart.
And it's a very big curb on the inside as well. It's not one of those like where you can have a nibble of the curb to age your way through. Bit of traffic for Kieran Harrison and Leeds A to deal with, but it's well dealt with. All the traffic trying to fight back there.
Might have compromised Brooks ever so slightly. I see him kneeling his head down to try and close up that gap. Yeah, that curb on the final corner there, I imagine it will spit you off, and then you'll have JV to answer to as well if you find that curb. Heavy
rain at the top end of the circuit now. You can see from the precipitation on the camera there. I'm astonished once again. Oh, it's down the inside. Here comes Brooks A looking for a move on Leeds. It's going to be very squirrely through the carousel. Well defended by Leeds. Brooks A asserting themselves. Here come Reading A as well. Ross Deal down the inside. Ever the opportunistic driver, but well dealt with there by Leeds A. But once again, look how there's just no grip as they come down the hill now. Liverpool B are going to come back into this, and Loughborough B. What a recovery this has been by Lucas Ellingham, back up into 8th place. But Kieran Harrison, this is why we've seen him have success. Oh no, he's run out wide! I was about to say it was success for Leeds, but Kieran Harrison is off. Going for a bit of rallycross, gets it back on circuit, but loses a stack of positions.
Where did that come from? The car just looked like it did not want to bite into that corner. What a shame as well, because he was putting on a brilliant defence there. He was waiting for the track to come to him. He was letting the track help him. He was waiting for those inside lines to approach him. But heading into turn 1 there, it's all gone wrong. Great recovery, unfortunately being slightly undone for Liverpool B as well. They were up into P7, maybe having the same issues heading into turn 1. They're down in P10 once again.
Checkered flag is going to be out for Ocean Beach. Time is up. Another victory for Manchester A in a big, big race with some big names. And phew, he's able to go back into the warmth with 60 points for Manchester A. Oxford A second, and a big, big third place for Exeter A. Max O'Shaughnessy from the back of the field. He may not get the race wins, but boy, does he turn in some big point returns for Exeter A. He's done it again there with third. Brooks A fourth, Loughborough B fifth. Good recovery from Lucas Ellingham. Birmingham A sixth, but have penalties. Liverpool B in seventh. Another top 10 for Southampton A. They're constructing a very nice round so far. Are Southampton A, Reading A ninth, and 10th were Leeds A. That is my first commentary box curse of the day. Sorry, Kieran. Warwick A and Warwick B come home 11th and 12th. Difficult race for Sam Sanders in 13th there for UEA A, and 14th was Bath B. All of those results, of course, are very provisional. That was a dramatic one, Reeve.
It was. I imagine, though, smiles all round in the Exeter paddock there. They'll
Yeah.
be very happy with that result. It's exactly what they need.
It was indeed, especially as Reading A have already had a not-so-good race today. It is just one little step closer for Exeter A to wrapping up this championship. We're good.